Hi. How are you? Whew, it's been a fun week. I just realized that we haven't had a chance to really visit. Last time we were talking, I was telling you that Felicity over at Felicity Creates It All has a consignment out a little bit of a drive past my house. Last Wednesday, she swung by, I jumped in her car, and we went for a nice little road trip. We went out to The Cove in Stockton, California, where she did a reset of her items that she puts on consignment. Very, very cute boutique. Tons of crafty, wonderful people with all of their items on display. Absolutely good time. And then we came back to Oakley, took her to one of my favorite taco spots. We had lunch, we sat, we talked, we had a good time. Here is a picture of Felicity's display at the Cove. Look at all those makes, all those fun, adorable makes. So this is a really good alternative to get your items on display somewhere if you're not doing like a festival or an arts and crafts show, or if you're not doing a street fair or anything like that. These items can sit somewhere instead of in a storage tote at your house waiting to go out, and people can wander in and shop and look. I highly suggest you really look into the contracts with the items that with the owners of the store that you're possibly wanting to do a consignment. They're all different. There's many different stipulations. It's one of those bucket list things. You could say you've done it. Check it out. Take a look. I think Mama La Michaela does one, and I think they call theirs the Flea. It's like a flea market. It's a big antique shop, and she rents some shelving space out of one. Like that. So, we did that on Wednesday. Yesterday in Benicia, California, which was at one point the capital of California, they had a peddlers fair. They closed down their first street, their main street, and there's over 300 vendors, and everybody puts out their wares. Tons of different items. My husband picked up some meat seasonings. We saw tons of kettle corn. My daughter bought a beautiful piece of art. Let's see. And Felicity was there. Here is a picture of Felicity and her friend Vivian in their booth having a great time. Out there selling those crochet items and enjoying the good weather. They were down by the water. There was a wonderful little breeze. It was cooler in Benicia than it was here in Oakley. It was 104 in Oakley where I live. In Benicia, it was, I think, 89, 90. Microclimates in California are crazy. You could drive 30, 45 minutes in any direction and get a totally different weather pattern. I really enjoyed the day. I enjoyed walking. We went to a cute little bakery coffee shop. We bought some pastries and wandered past their industrial baking area out the back door. They had a huge platform that was covered by a huge oak tree. You walk off the platform, down some stairs and around, and they've created little patio spaces with rocking chairs and tables, long banquet tables and short little cafe tables. There's metal art down there, and it's all covered by a bougainvillea, a beautiful fuchsia colored bougainvillea. So nice and shady, but the wind breeze could still get through right off the water. Wonderful day with the family. So wonderful. Today is Sunday. Everybody in my house is home. Everybody. The whole family's home today. It is 11 o'clock in the morning, and it is silent. I know we've had a wonderful weekend when the next day everybody's quiet and tired and low-key. And I can hear those birds occasionally, but I think Sadie's in there laying on the floor, and if there's nobody sitting with them, they tend to squawk at her too. So what did I do? I actually spent some time in my room today. Look, we're cleaner. We are a little bit cleaner. I organized. I noticed that when I create a project, I get a project bag or a Ziploc bag, and I put all that yarn and notions that I need that I'm using, and I tend to carry that around in my purse. When the project's over, I have a bad habit of not dispersing my notions back where they belong, putting my scrap yarn back into the scrappy bin, or my floppies back into the totes, or if there's skeins untouched, into the yarn cellar. Terrible habit. So today I grabbed a hold of all those little sandwich baggies, lunch Ziploc gallon baggies, and whip bags and drawstring bags, and opened everything up and put everything where it belonged. Ta-da, we're clean again. You see that monster right there? Keep an eye on that monster. Heather, the crochet witch, has an event coming up, and little monster is going to be traveling. Heather, the crochet witch. I will put Felicity's Mama Kayla. We all know who she is anyway. And Heather, the crochet witch, will be in my description box below with some links. And if I happen to mention anybody else, they'll be in the links too. So in going through all of those bags, I found items that I had full intention of starting and wanting to finish and forgetting and moving on and doing something else, distracted by the shiny things. But that's okay, because I found them. I have found them. The first one I'd like to share with you. Remember all these little letters I made? Hooked on Wishing Crochet. I used the embroidery thread. I worked on this down in LA when I was visiting Sarah Nickel. Description box below. And the intention was to put, can you hold on to that for me? The intention was to put them on the back of this really nice light cotton sweater, which I guess it's been so hot, it really hasn't been sweater weather, right? But it's just a little zip up, little quarter zip hoodie sweatshirt. I just love the washed look of it. Got it on sale. On the back of it, I want Hooked on Wishing Crochet. I crocheted the letters. That wasn't the hard part. The intimidating part for me, and why I came to a complete stop on it, was that I need to sew them on. I'm good at hand sewing. I took clothing all the way through high school. I was sewing clothes for Barbies way before I picked up a crochet hook. The sewing part doesn't intimidate me. What intimidates me is that I want it centered. I want it to look nice. Last week I was digging through the kitchen and I found a great big chip party bowl, which I think is the perfect size. I'm gonna put the party bowl down on this, and I want Hooked on Wishing, and then I want crochet, and then I'll pick up the party bowl, move the party bowl, and put crochet down below. Thinking semicircle would be nice. I did order a dandelion patch to put in the middle, so I've got that. And when I was wandering around at the $1.25 tree, at the $1.25 tree, I came across fabric tack. Glue. It's probably just super glue marketed. It says best for fabric. Premium glue, bonds fabric, lace, glass, wood, leather, trims, and more. $1.25. I got a couple of them. I know I could probably find the same thing for cheaper at a craft store, but I was at the dollar store and I was feeling motivated to finish this project. It does say made in the USA since 1926. 1926. I still owe you a 1950s fiber rewind. We'll be doing that the last Friday of the month. This is a totally full catch-up video, isn't it? So the idea, I'm gonna get my chip bowl. I'm gonna lay this out on the coffee table in the living room. I'm gonna take all those letters one by one, because that's the thing. I didn't want to take it off that drying board because they're starched flat. I'm gonna take them off one by one and tack them onto this sweater. It says that it's permanent fabric adhesive. I don't trust it. I don't trust myself. I'm gonna wash it. This is going to the beach. It's gonna be crumpled up in a bag when it got too hot. It's gonna get splashed if I go on a roller coaster with a water feature. I'm gonna hand sew them on, but I want to tack them down nice and safe before I get started on that, so that I can make sure that they're even where I'm sewing them. I also have a very large embroidery hoop, so I'm gonna do one by one, get them on there, get them all tacked on, put this on an embroidery hoop, and then very slowly start tacking the edges of the letters so that the letters don't curl at all over time. So yes, it has taken me a very long time to move forward on this project, but I'm doing it right. It's gonna look good. Oh, what else is going on? Have you met Ellen? Have you met Ellen? Ellen is awesome. Ellen crochets, and she has a mannequin named Nellie. Go say hi to Nellie. She is hosting a cake-off, and I think she's working with Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, Laura. The two of them, I believe, purchased and received some yarn from Crystal, Bago de Crochet, and they were the same cakes, the same color, and so they decided that for a couple of months, I think it's been going on, that they wanted to use a little over 1,000 yards in a cake and make a project and have everybody join in. I don't have the same yarn they do, but they said it's okay that you could use any cake or two. Do you remember this? Do you remember this yarn? Long story long. 3 Halloweens ago, on a spooky cloudy night, I saw that Hobbii, H-O-B-B-I-I, had this Halloween yarn, and I wanted it so bad. And I tried ordering it. I placed my order. I got a notification it was on back order. I ended up canceling it. It wasn't coming. Then Robert, Cindy's husband, over on Pups and Crochet, Robert did a trick-or-treat. He snuck onto Cindy's channel and did a trick-or-treat giveaway. And there were 2 of these cakes. Each cake is over 500 yards. That gives me my over 1,000 yards. I think it was closer to 600. Either way, in Ellen's cake-off video, she posted the requirements, and I need it. So the first Halloween that I got these, I searched the interwebs and I decided I wanted to make a batterfly shawl. Oh, it was so pretty. It looked like big bat wings, but it was a shawl, and there was a cute little story about how the designer's daughter, she's making a butterfly. The daughter called it a bat. They decided to call it a batterfly. It was a beautiful free pattern on Ravelry. The yarn didn't want to grow up to be a batterfly. The hook was required. It was the right size, but the hook that they asked to meet gauge, it wasn't creating big enough to fit over my shoulders and drape down the front at all. It was building too slowly, and it was more of a cape style. So that first year she decided she didn't want to be that. The second Halloween, I tried just a basic granny shawl. This yarn is loud and proud, and it wants to stand on its own. So the granny stitch, as plain as it was trying to let the yarn shine, but the yarn was saying no. It wasn't looking right. I wouldn't wear it. It just didn't feel great. I'm back at it again. I found another pattern on Ravelry, and this time I have the motivation of that cake off. And the yarn is working up absolutely beautiful in this poncho. It's called a Kelly poncho. I love ponchos. I have that one cotton poncho that I throw on all year long. I get so many compliments on that simple cotton little poncho. It dresses up a tank top. It looks good wherever we're going throughout the day. So I was thinking another poncho. That'd be great. Then I don't have to worry about the shawl covering out. Shawls are, I move around a lot. I need something to like hug and stay on me, right? So here is the beginning of the poncho. It will be worked in a circle. This is the neckline. This is the bottom line. There is quite a bit of stretch. And I think that was part of the problem with this yarn before. It will need to be blocked. So let's see, it's called Kelly's Poncho. Here is a picture of Kelly's Poncho. Isn't it fabulous? I'm excited. Okay, so it's got this nice little extended single crochet pattern going on up here. Every other row, because it's worked in rows all the way around, is a short row. Every 2 rows is a short row, and then the third one comes back down and does these huge double crochets. Isn't that awesome? And when it's blocked, it makes a bit of a hexy octagon. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 6 sides. It's gonna be fabulous. The yarn wants to be a Kelly's poncho when it grows up. So then the neckline, there's some decreasing stitches that'll go around. It's got a very large neckline. So this is actually going to be a fabulous length. I can't wait. So I've got one, I undid the last project, got it caked up nice and neat. So in unraveling this project over and over again, I'm worried about the integrity of the yarn after we work with it. It has this memory to it, and so I have used my ball winder and caked it up so that it can gain its loftiness back. After being worked with and stored and manipulated a few times, it was losing its loftiness. And that truly is an aspect of this yarn, and I don't want to lose that. So I got that. Now this has become the car project. This is going with me when I go with clients to doctor's appointments, when I'm waiting between shifts, when I'm on the go and I get to be a passenger princess. Work on all of those. I still got ants. You guys, I still have ants. All of a sudden I'll feel one crawling on me and I'll look and there isn't an ant there. But then sometimes there is an ant there. See, that's the tricky thing about ants. They're so small, they just get into your mind. Okay, so those are 2 projects that I pulled out. I have mail, self-induced happy mail. Feeling really happy about it. Let me go grab the other part of it so I could show it to you all together. It's mail in waiting, or project in waiting. Let me get it. Okay, thank you for waiting. Do you remember this pattern book? Annie Crochets? I bought this whole pattern book because I love the style. So this is called a captivating, it's called the Captivating Cardi. Let me see, bring it around this way. Ah, isn't it beautiful? Oh man, it's gorgeous. I want this. It's patchwork crochet, and I'm gonna have to take it step by step. You're creating as you go, which, okay. But this is a totally new technique to me where Cardi is made of shells and half shells worked with a join as you go technique. Weave in loose ends as work progresses. So they've got great pattern notes. I've read through the pattern. I have looked at the gauge, the recommended yarn that they use, a suggestion for the recipe, right, is Lion Brand Kobu. It's a light DK. It's a 3-weight. I've looked through all of my stuff and I have decided that I want it more for a fall winter jacket. But here in California, it doesn't get very fall winter. So I don't really have a lot of colder days or morning jackets. I know that I don't want the sleeves to go all the way down. I love those little quarter sleeves that I do on pretty much everything. I have a beautiful button to use here that I picked up from San Luis Obispo for the California Fiber Meetup. And when I was at the flea market in Stockton, months and months ago now, I found a Luray Classic. This is a deep, deep purple, heathered purple. That's true to color. That's good. That looks really good. And I have plenty of yardage for my dark blue color. It's not the cotton, it's not the Kobu. It is a DK Light 3 according to Ravelry for the yarn. I didn't have an alternative, but I got such a fabulous, practically free deal on these. They smell amazing. They're clean. I did the pull test. I kept it in the trunk of the car for about a week before I even brought it in the house and showed you guys. Like, this is good stuff. That was an excellent deal. So I decided I really, really want the sweater. I need a contrasting color. I wanted to make it out of the same yarns. Didn't want to split it and divide it up. I just thought that struggle might not be. I want to give it the best chance of being what it could be. Etsy, seller on Etsy in Idaho, had some Luray Classic. And I got more yardage than I need, which is great. So this is a pretty light blue color, a gray, gray leaning towards blue. But when I hold it with that one, oh, it's beautiful. Hold on. Let's smash it all together. I think so. I think so. I'm excited. So I have all the yarn together. I have the pattern with the yarn. It has its very own shelf in the yarn cellar. But I can't start it. I cannot. This will be a reward for finishing up the other things I have on my list to do. I know. I just showed you the idea. It's in all its glory. I want to make it. I want to do it. I gotta wait. So, let me clear some space over here. Let's see. It's been about 3 months. In the heat of the summer, I gotta move this stuff out of the way. In the heat of the summer, in the very, very beginning, one of my very, very good childhood friends sent me a picture on Instagram of a cowgirl hat. My friend is a blacksmith. She shoes horses. She's about that world completely, 100%. And this hat was just calling to her. And she said, no rush. She's an artist herself. She does a lot of ironworking. She's an artist. And she said, no rush. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. She knows how, you got to get the creative juices going. You got to find your palette. You've got to research the components and get it all together. There was no pattern on this, but I mean, looking at it. So I did a Google search and I found a bunch of other pictures. and I started compiling my palette. I've shared this with you a little bit in the last week or so because it's taken me that long to finish up other stuff. I guess not finish everything up, but so I started working and I ended up creating the perfect granny square to use. I played around with hook size. I decided my polymer clay shed from Etsy. Nice thick handle. This handle is still really light, fits good in the hand. I used my H, link for this one in the description box below. And I came up with this granny square. I did good. I did really good with the color matching. So then I needed some triangles, and I was working on the triangles, and I ran out of the red. I got 6 red triangles done. And so I decided, well, the whole thing's being joined together with the mocha, the Caron United mocha. So I decided that some of the triangles will have mocha in the middle. I didn't mind these big gaps in the squares because my dearest friend Laura sent me the cowgirl hat that fits her the best. I don't know much about cowgirl hats, but I believe the wide part goes in the back to keep the sun off your neck, and the narrow part comes to the front. So I'm going to show you like this. She sent me this hat pretty hard. I'm sure she's going to break it in. So this was my foundation. Working up my squares, my triangles, I needed to make sure the original pattern pieces that I could find, a lot of them did 2 granny squares, which is a very rectangular shape. This is not a rectangular shape. Some of them used a granny square in the back, which I think maybe the top part of their hat was wider in the back and more narrow in the front. Sometimes you see those creases where you, madame or miss, is more narrow in the front. This one isn't. This one's very symmetrical. So I ended up altering the pictures and the images to make it mine. I used 2 triangles with the pointy part here and here. And I got them stitched together. Ta-da. 2 triangles. I ended up using the 2 brown on the top. And then working the top side, so around here, I've seen people use just granny squares. But in looking at it and keeping the shape, I need a triangle here and a triangle here, and then 2 granny squares. So work those up, stitched those on. Moving on to the top of the brim. The top of the brim, if I laid this completely flat, would be a really nice circle. I have a wedge shape here, a wedge shape here, and that fits 1 granny square. 1 granny square, a triangular wedge, and this was the part that I really needed to get my tension right and my hook size right, because I needed 2 granny squares on each side here. Also, when I was working up the squares to go around this bit with a triangle and a triangle, I was making them too small. It was stretching too much and then way too big. So I'm glad I landed on a good hook size. The other alternative was using the H hook for the squares and going down to 4.5. The 4 was too small. 4.5 would be what, that G plus, that in between. I made it work. When I worked the triangles, I just worked them tight. And when I worked the granny squares, I chilled. So I broke it down into the different pieces. As I made each square, I tucked in my ends, I trimmed them, and stitching them together was no big deal. Did my single crochets. When I held 2 granny squares together, I grabbed the 2 inside loops when I did my single crochet join, so that single crochet ridge that tends to happen when you join squares fell down between the 2 ridges of the squares next to it. Let me show you. So I've joined a triangle and a square. I grabbed the two inner loops as I held them together. So that single crochet fell, and then you've got this cute little braid going down each side. I made sure that I counted so that each triangle and each square were joined by exactly 17 around. And that helped so that I didn't have to fudge anything towards those last few stitches. Also, on the triangle, I have this top part of the natural triangle. These will be tacked down to give a nice little textural piece, because that's the front of the hat and the back of the hat, and I didn't want just a weird seam across there. So I left this, and I'll sew these in and tack it down, just a little bit more fluid. Also, so this is the bucket part of the hat. This is the brim. It's still a little floppy. We'll get that on there. I left the top part of the triangle because I'm hoping that the hat band, when I can get this off, part of it is off, but I want to be gentle, is glued on right here in the front. I need to be gentle and take that off. I don't want to ruin anything. But I'm thinking there's a little band on here that I can unhook and lace this band through and around the tops of those 4 triangles. So I used two brown triangles on the very top. I used brown triangles on the brim. So now I have the whole top of the hat covered. Now I need to make a piece to go on the inside of the brim. Ta-da! I made the inside brim piece, and then I crocheted just a long chain to help me out. This will be where the head goes. So this hat is fully covered, top and bottom. And for this one, I used the burgundy. So the whole inside has the burgundy pattern. The whole outside, all those triangles, have the brown. Break up visual interest, right? So I've got it all crocheted together, all stitched together. My math was pretty good because I ended up having the wrong size, and then 3 squares, and then I did have to make, I think it was 4 brown triangles. So I mathed the calculation pretty well. So the next step is to take the hat, put the top cover on, pin it to the bottom cover, and do 1 single crochet. That's it. 1 long single crochet all the way around. And that's it. It's done. And then I can move on to my next project. You want to see it on there, don't you? All right, here we go. I guess I still do have some ends. I still have some ends to tuck in. There's a little finagling that probably needs to happen. Okay, this is probably a really good point to do a side-by-side. What do you think? Is it bad luck to try on somebody else's hat? It's my dear friend. I don't know. With all this hair, I don't know. Oh. That's not gonna work. That's okay. We'll get pictures. So, gotta get that belt off of there and get this all pulled down and worked on there. I think I'm doing pretty good. I think this is gonna happen. So now I believe this is made up the same, so I could match them triangle to triangle, square to square, and make sure that these lines line up. You know, for visual effect, it starts here. I got this long seam going. I want the inner seam to match the outer of the brim. Are we busy today? Do we have anything going on? I don't think so. I don't think we got anything too serious going on today, right? It's Sunday. It's Sunday, and tomorrow is an inspirational Monday. Oh, there's a knock on the door, and she's dismissing herself. Lily's awake. She's my late sleeper, my late night party animal. I can hear her in there. Isn't it crazy overhearing people that are gaming? Some of the stuff I overhear. I think I've joked with you about it before, when the kids were like, all of them were really into the Pokemon on their cell phones. They were getting along great. Oh, it was wonderful. All of a sudden, one of them would yell through the house, "There's a raid!" And they would all dart out the front door. We live across the street from a really big park and a middle school. They would all dart outside. They would walk together all the way down the street. I don't know what was going on in the street. And then they would like wander down this little walking trail and end up at the school for a raid. Oh, I'm so glad I was listening in like to the leading up of these raids, because I think as a mom, I would freak out if my kid was just all of a sudden, "There's a dangerous something outside. Quick, everybody, go." No. It's fun. I love it when they get together. Yesterday when we went to the Benicia Peddlers Fair, we didn't go super early in the morning. The fair opened up at 8 o'clock. Now that's early. Felicity said that when they went to go set up at their craft fair, they woke up at like 4 or 5 a.m. and got over there and got excellent parking spots in their ideal camp out spots for the day. That's early. You fair people, you festival people are really dedicated. Yesterday we got over there around afternoon. It must have been about 12:30, and I guess everyone had a chance to sleep in because everyone was refreshed. They're asking me what I was doing today and where I was going. All 3 of my kids jumped in the car and went on an adventure with me. It's such a rare treat, and all 3 of them have long legs, so cramming into the back of the seat of the car, we're quickly outgrowing it. We have a newer vehicle out there that my husband recently brought home. It needs a little bit of maintenance before it's drivable, but that will become our new family car. It's a Dodge Durango, so plenty more leg space for everybody. I made this sound so easy when I was like, I just need to do 1 single crochet all the way around. Hang out with me. I wonder if I'm gonna have to use a little bit of tack or something. This hat is pretty slick. Hold on, I have no idea boy is doing in his room, but it sounds like he is breaking my wall down. Hold on. Yeah, I knew it. He's in there breaking the wall down. He's got a gamer chair, and he sits in front of his TV and rocks back and forth, and it hits the dresser a little bit, and the back of the dresser has a mirror on it, and then the TV is propped in front of that, so we're gonna need to reconfigure that for him. I just don't have time. I got all these crochet projects I want to work on. I do tend to let some things go so that I could have a few extra minutes to work on fun stuff. All right, we're almost around. Well, what other projects? So I've got this one promised, and I have a beautiful red dress to make for Amanda over at Tap Mama and the Bag Brigade. Have you seen the Bag Brigade lately? Those pups are just absolutely wonderful. Dear sweet Maggie and Theo. He's such a good big brother. Amanda's channel will be linked in the description box below. All right. Ah, I lost it. I'm doing really good at keeping these seams lined up. I think that's because I really made sure when I do the granny squares, count and recount that last row and make sure that they all have the same, which was a little bit of a struggle to find a triangle that had the same amount of sides as the granny square that I wanted to use. That's probably the part that took me the most time with this project. It wasn't the actual crocheting. It definitely wasn't the sewing it together. But I always give that last little procrastination right before something is completed. And it really is just me. I'm going over it in my head like, is this really, before I sew in all the last ends, before I really tuck all this together, is this really the best I can do? Is this what matches the best? It's not too late to take it out and critique something or change something. Just that final little commitment. Ew. We're probably all a little bit like that. Just want it to represent my best work for my good friend. All right, so I just stitched a triangle to a triangle, so I know that I am still on task. What does your week look like? Do you have something fun to look forward to? Any company before the summer season is officially over? I know most of us are in the thick of the dog days of summer. The Sirius constellation is in full swing. Let's see. I don't think we have any more visitors. We go to a year-round school. There's traditional schools all around us, but our family and friends don't travel too far to visit us. There's been a little bit of discussion about Thanksgiving plans and Christmas plans and who's gonna host. I don't know. Seems like the summer went by so fast. I don't know if I'm ready to start making those plans quite yet. We're almost done. I don't know if I'm ready to start. I guess when you break it down paycheck by paycheck, Christmas is on its way. I usually try when I'm out and about in the world and I see something that I think one of the kids would be absolutely thrilled to have, kind of try to buy it all year. Buy, you know, littler things, just that when the holiday season comes and I gift it to them, I don't really enjoy, I think that's the part about the holidays that get me down. I don't really enjoy all that, the last minute pressure or the hustle or the crowds that form and they're all got to get it or got to do it kind of mentality. I don't like the pressure. So to help myself with that holiday pressure, I try to just space it out throughout the year, and then it's I want to, or I feel in the spirit to, not necessarily come down to that I have to. All right, we're on the last little front edge. Ah! It's getting a little tighter to sandwich these together. That's good, that's good. That means that my tension was just right and it'll be able to hold itself together. Now that I'm getting it stitched together, it really does feel like that top part's not gonna slide around. I didn't really see, I mean, I saw some tutorial YouTube videos on other people that have made them. They're just now starting to gain a bit of popularity. You know, another project that I saw that's gaining popularity on the socials is baseball caps, where people stitch one granny square onto the front of a baseball cap. I got about 6 of them down here that I'm not going to use for this. I guess it's commitment. Do you want all the granny squares on your hat, or are we just committing to one granny square on a baseball hat? I have a really pretty sun hat that I really needed to wear yesterday and walked off and forgot it at home. It would be cute. I could sew a granny square on the front of my sun hat. I have seen that, I think it's Michael's. I think Michael's or Walmart, or there's a craft store that has all the trim now, and it's that machine made granny square trim, like a ribbon with all the different granny squares on it. Oh, I thought of so many things I could use that for, and they're doing the hard work for me. They created all those granny squares. When I come to a corner, I put 2 single crochets, go over my ridge and do 2 single crochets. All right, look, we're in the home stretch. Oh my gosh, I might have to take this big old bulky clip out of my hair so I can put it on. You know what would be awesome is to have a picture of my friend out horseback riding out in the rolling hills and countryside and in the golden hour of sunrise or sunset, and get a glorious picture of my granny square covered cowgirl hat I made for her. I just painted the whole illusion. We'll see, we'll see. She is very beautiful. I'm sure it would make a gorgeous picture. All right, let's, so let's see, what have we talked about? Talked about what's been going on, talked about what's coming up. I'm excited. I got my space all cleaned and cleared out. Feels like I'm starting fresh. I got out my my German spinning wheel. The last Wednesday of August, I'm going to the Spinning Guild of America. I'm gonna sit with my German spindle and we're gonna make some spinning friends. So I got her all pulled out. I got my little basket that I sit next to me with my my clean, fresh wool in. a couple more. Ah, I lost it. It's kind of an awkward angle, but I'm doing good. Thank you for keeping me company as I put the last of the big stitches together on this. Okay, that was it. The rest will just be sewing in these last little ends and tucking and, oh, you got me all excited to stitch that on there. I didn't take the band off. Oh, I can still get it off because I can still undo this and pull that band off. All right, let's see, it got all twisted. Yeah, I need to tuck in those triangle ends. Get the band on there. Yeah. Final adjustments, but overall, it looks really good. Oh my gosh. I got some work to do. But thank you. Thank you for visiting with me while I accomplished that bit of a task. And I'll see you soon. We've got inspiration on Monday and a Wednesday wipeout and a Friday freeform. Hope you're ready to scrumble with Nova Gnome Creations. That's been a fun thing for me to work on during the week. Wednesday wipeout, I think we're in the thick of the season. We're doing some pumpy pumpkins. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for visiting with me. I appreciate your time. Take care. Bye.